Hello, my name is George Rogers. I'm the Sage videographer and your host for this program. Thank you for agreeing to serve as a judge for this Sage tournament. Today, each Sage team will present the results of its business. There are two categories of competition. One category is the Best Socially Responsible Business, or SRB. The other is the Best Social Enterprise Business, or SEB. We'll tell you more about these two types of businesses in a moment. The team that you select as the most effective in meeting all of the SAGE judging criteria will advance to the next level of competition. We're looking to see which teams made the most positive impact in their communities. When you arrive at the judge's briefing, the staff will provide you with a judging packet. Now, the packet consists of all the tools you'll need to be an effective judge. On the left-hand side of the folder, you'll find a SAGE Quick Reference Guide. This guide provides an overview for judges and observers. In the right-hand side, you'll find scoring sheets, a sample judging ballot, and a judge's oath. You'll be assigned to judge a specific league. Now, each league will consist of at least 2 or 3 teams. As a judge in this round of competition, you'll only be responsible for judging one league. You will use one scoring sheet for each team assigned to your league. The top team from each league will advance to the next round of competition. Each league will be led by a league coordinator who will introduce the teams and be collecting the individual team scoring sheets after all of the teams in the league have made their presentation. Each team is given a 35-minute time block in the competition, which will be broken into 10 minutes for judging the written annual report, 13 minutes for oral presentation, 7 minutes for Q&A, and the last 5 minutes for your final scoring. The overall score of the team is based on meeting the 5 criteria as evidenced by their written report, their oral presentation, and their responses during the Q&A period. In order to evaluate each criterion, judges will have to evaluate each team's written annual report as well as the oral presentation. Teams must prepare a written annual that is limited to a maximum of 4 printed pages. The written annual report counts for 40 points maximum. The report is presented to judges immediately after the team is introduced. Judges have 10 minutes to review and score the report. Teams can earn a total of 40 points for the written annual report. Next, the team will give a 13-minute oral presentation. Teams may use any type of visual to make its presentation. The oral presentation counts for 40 points maximum. During the presentations, judges should assign a numerical value for the oral presentation on the team scoring sheet. Teams must finish the oral presentation in 13 minutes. Any unused minutes will roll over into the Q&A period. The next 7 minutes will be the Q&A session, which counts for a total of 20 points. Judges will be looking for 3 things in the Q&A period. Overall effectiveness. How well did the students demonstrate knowledge of the business? Balance. Did students share responses, or did 1 or 2 students dominate? Poise. Were the students confident and polished? It is an essential part of the team presentation that judges ask relevant, concise questions. Now, to aid in this process, the SAGE overview in your packet contains several sample questions to ask. After the Q&A period is ended, you will have 5 minutes to complete the scoring of the oral presentation and the Q&A. Your final tally is based on a 100-point maximum. In assigning point values to each criterion, you will find the SAGE scoring rubric in your judge's packet to be very helpful. After tallying the scores for each criterion, you should add up all the points and assign a numerical value ranging from 1 to 100 at the bottom of the team's scoring sheet. Now that we've covered the components of a presentation, let's review the 5 judging criteria on which you will evaluate the written report and the oral presentation. The first criterion asks, how innovative and creative is the business? Does this business have features which few, if any, other businesses have, which add to the success of the business? Now, this criterion is worth 10 points for the written report and 10 points for the oral presentation, for a total of 20 points. The second criterion is, what is the amount of profit for the business? Has it achieved profitability through earned income? Or has it defined a believable path toward profitability? This criterion is worth 10 points for the written report and 10 points for the oral presentation, a total of 20 points. The third criterion requires that business exhibit sustainable business practices. Now, does the business meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs? Has the SAGE team understood the importance of being responsible stewards of the environment in a market economy, either through its products or services or by its actions in the community? This criterion is also worth 10 points for the written report and 10 points for the oral presentation. The last 2 criteria are worth only 5 points for the written report and 5 points for the oral presentation, or a total of 10 points. Criterion 4 seeks evidence that the business has a succession plan in place. In other words, has the team demonstrated that the business will continue after the current year? Will the team carry on over the summer, the winter, and spring? Criterion 5 asks students to utilize mass media and social media to publicize its activities and enhance the visibility of SAGE. This includes magazines, TV, radio, billboards, newsletters, websites, and social media. Now let's turn to the 5 criteria for a social enterprise business, or SEB for short. SEBs can be structured as a for-profit business or a non-profit business. An SEB directly addresses social needs through its products or services or through the number of disadvantaged people they employ. The first criterion asks, does the business have measurable and proven impacts? Has the organization succinctly defined exactly what change it is trying to achieve? This criterion is worth 10 points for the written part and 10 points for the oral part, a total of 20 points. Criterion 2 asks, what are the community resources obtained by the business in helping it achieve its mission? And how were these resources employed? The majority of the financial resources collected should come from earned income. This criterion is worth 10 points for the written report and 10 points for the oral part, a total of 20 points. Criterion 3, 4, and 5 are the same for SEBs and SRBs and have the same point totals. Criterion 3 addresses sustainable business practices, worth a total of 20 points. Criterion 4 seeks evidence that the business has a succession plan in place, worth a total of 10 points. Criterion 5 asks students to utilize mass media and social media to publicize its activities. Now that you know what a SAGE presentation consists of and the 5 judging criteria, let's review the final judging process. After a SAGE team has made its presentation and you have tallied up the total, we urge you to write any additional comments on the blue sheets for the SRBs and the green sheets for the SEBs. This feedback is used by the teams to improve their programs. When the entire league has made their presentations, you will rank each team based on its point totals using the yellow SAGE judging ballot. Now, the team with the highest number of points will be your number 1 ranked team, and so on. There can be no ties. If you have 2 schools rated the same, You should reevaluate your scores. Ballots with ties will not be counted. The SAGE tournament is about selecting the teams which were the most effective in meeting all of the SAGE judging criteria. It's not about which team gave the best presentation or made the most profit. Teams must create and implement projects that satisfy as many of the SAGE judging criteria as possible. Before you leave today, we ask that you complete a SAGE Judges Survey included in your judging packet and return this to the league coordinator before you leave. We know how busy you are, and we sincerely thank you for participating in today's SAGE tournament. Again, we thank you.